Entropy equals disorder. The universe is moving toward entropy. Therefore, the universe is moving toward disorder. Forms are order. That which is moving toward form, or completion of form, is moving against disorder or against entropy. Therefore, since the universe is moving toward disorder, away from form in lineal time, then that which is moving toward form is moving in an orthogonal or even possible opposite direction from the universe as such, and is picking up heat as well as form, i.e. moving toward less disorder, hence more energy. It cannot be that to move toward completion of form is to move toward disorder. Hence, movement toward form means to gain life or energy. Kozyrev's theory of left spin as life or energy gaining, right as losing, and that our universe is left spin, hence must be moving, a la Bergson, toward energy acquiring, not losing, toward form. Growth time, movement of an entelechy toward completion, must be orthogonal to decay time or wheel spinning time, even if our senses can't sort out these two times that move before us, in us, and around us. Some sections, some parts of the universe are moving backward then, despite our concluded vision of a single forward lineal stream. We have a monovision in a sense, blending two signals which should be discriminated. When we do discriminate, we perceive a general forward flow to decay, but within it, a backward flow. Heraclitus, fragment 51. The key retractile, pulling back oscillation of the bow and lyre. I think they are both present now, and may always be, have been. But we are generally occluded, i.e. one-eyed. It seems unlikely that the retrograde will complete deep wedgie gathering time I rarely discern. Was there only so long as I discerned it, and then it departed. It is much more likely, if not certain, that it was there before and is there now, but that I fell back into monotemporal vision.
I can smell fresh cut grass.
Imagine
You were pad
like a seed. My soul was because of the existence of that which is perceived precedes perception, certainly of reason. If we watched a speed of film of a formed element, we would easily discern the latent form within it, which means intelligence. Pressed outward into actualization, we would sense it within, and then we would see the inner pressure finally unfold and die away, leaving completed form without internal energy. Then we would watch decay and disorder begin. For example, a rosebud developing, a force internal, a plant unfolds energetically, then reaches equilibrium and stasis. Then the force dwindles away, becomes feeble, and the completed form is at the mercy forever of external forces, which formerly the entelechy pressed outward against so effectively. One form of energy, within growth, has waned, and forces moving toward disorder now prevail. Maybe, if we could discern it, there were two times visible, or anyhow present. What I noticed most was the total isomorphic relatedness between me and my environment, which I realized to be an animate and concerned entity guiding me by an endless series of engaging signals, engaging with internal systems of my own. So I was and therefore am still, although the isomorphic relatedness is now invisible to me. It must be there yet, that involving living world of kindness and guidance on every side. I move along a narrow path well marked with signs that I notice and respond to, even though in a sense I do not consciously anymore notice. They still guide me just as well, like a gutter pipe directs rainwater without the water being conscious of it. The whale's mouth sign of intersecting arcs, which I viewed as representing curved time and curved space. If each arc represents a form of time, one of them lineal time, the other orthogonal or hypertime, then this sign could be thought of as representing a single previous intersection in our past, at which the two times came together, around 100 AD, and then each went its own way. But as they were moving in arcs, it was inevitable by the laws of geometry that eventually they would once more intersect, perhaps 2,000 years or so later, i.e. very soon. These also would represent the two hemispheres of the brain, any human's brain, once before linked, then soaring off orthogonally, but fated by immutable laws to come together again. It's possible that the Christian fish sign concealed these two geometric arcs. Intentionally, the arcs would show that the unique event of Christ's first coming was beyond any doubt to be followed by the second coming, or intersection. This was conveyed and concealed and revealed all at once by the fish sign, making sense too out of there being both a first and second coming. The arc opened after the first, and each line seemed to separate from the other farther and farther, heaven and earth splitting further and further apart. But a keen, trained eye could discern in this simple drawing the return together lying inevitably ahead. The promise was ad hoc, true. Put another way, when viewed in this geometrical fashion, there was no way by which the second coming, together in time, could be averted. No force, delusion, lies, or guile, or threats could prevent it eventually coming. See Virgil's fourth eclogue, the age of iron to give way to the age of gold. And the fish sign I saw was made of gold, and I saw around me a prison, a magnet-like ring of iron. 5:35. Plot element for To Scare the Dead. Nicholas discovers that each of his brains, minds, hemispheres, is traveling at right angles to the other in time. This is vital plot element must use to help accentuate that it isn't a duplication of one mind, but two totally different minds. Any device like this, or time travel, which will accentuate difference, is desirable. Question: are the two hemispheres, by so traveling, becoming farther and farther apart progressively like ships traveling at right angles, latitude versus longitude to each other? And the other will encounter an other, which is that other, himself. Plato and the four-armed, four-legged animus anima, whole person, long ago split apart and in search of its other part. He will unexpectedly encounter himself, and thereby close the loop, probably forever. Note: while this self-encounter occurs as an idea for a plot, it offers an uncanny description of Dick's own journey. Under the influence of his own writing, and by putting as much of himself as possible into that writing, Dick seems to have seen himself as an abstraction, not in the sense of a deadened thing taken out of its context, but in the sense that software engineers discuss layers of abstraction, an act of metacognition or description that at once detaches from and observes other layers of the system. In the exegesis, Dick observed himself being what Douglas Hofstadter calls a strange loop. Dick later recognizes that this operation of meta-abstraction identifies something about reality, that the world itself is looped with the language we use to describe it. In The Divine Invasion, the child god Emmanuel manifests something like this loop when he performs the hermetic transform. RD. Endnote. Or did his other self, the other, start out long ago and is just now returning? Himself expressed as signal. I shot an arrow into the air. By arrow, read half of myself. Now returning, producing anamnesis, the shock of recognition. He is not starting on this trip. This trip is ending. These are answers, responses to him. By whom? This is the mystery. Who is he in contact with? The Valley System. It really is not himself in time, in past or present, but spatially complete as on a go board. Our souls, having traveled out to the stars, are now streaming back to report that life exists, that they exist, and hence, so do we. What is expressed here is an extraordinary demonstration of the principles of conservation and symmetry, Heraclitus and Parmenides, plus our thermal laws. What is this?